most of us, well, we're taught to fear it, aren't we? Anger. We're told, suppress it, apologize for it, just calm down.
Right. Breathe deep. Count to 10.
Exactly. But what if?
Yeah.
What if this really intense emotion isn't some weakness we have to conquer? What if it's something else entirely?
Something powerful.
Yes. Maybe even a source of strength just waiting for us to, I guess, understand it properly. Honestly, digging into our sources for today, this idea really, it stopped me in my tracks.
It's a counterintuitive thought, for sure.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into this fascinating perspective that asks, why is anger so profoundly underrated? And I really do, that what we're about to uncover might actually shift how you view this feeling in your own life.
Yeah, definitely. And our goal here isn't just, listing what the sources say. We want to offer you a genuinely fresh way to think about it, something actionable.
Right.
We want to cut through that usual story, the one that just labels anger as toxic, and instead show how, if you handle it right, it can be this incredibly potent force for good. It's almost like finding the real instruction manual for an energy source you've had all along.
An energy source you were told was too dangerous to even touch.
Exactly.
And that's what's so cool about this. By the end of our chat, hopefully you'll have a completely different lens, a new way to look at your own anger when it pops up.
Yeah.
This is really a chance to get an informed, kind of nuanced view on something that, well, I know I've probably dismissed for years.
Many of us have.
It's about giving you a new perspective, not just, another fact.
Empowerment through understanding.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this, because right from the start, the material we looked at, it hits us with a pretty bold idea.
It doesn't hold back.
No. We often hear anger talked about in these hushed tones like it's some kind of disease, right?
Yeah, definitely. Stigma.
And the source points out, society constantly tells us it's dangerous, that it's just plain toxic.
Unequivocally toxic, yeah.
We're so conditioned to hear, calm down, relax, take a deep breath, whenever that feeling starts to bubble up.
It really nails that cultural message we all absorb, that deep-seated belief that anger is just bad, something to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, avoidance.
And what's so striking, reading this stuff, is how directly it confronts that. It doesn't ignore the fear we have around it.
No, it faces it head on.
Exactly. Instead, it basically says, here's the truth. And it might be uncomfortable at first, but anger is fuel.
Fuel. Wow.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Have we been looking at this all wrong? Have we been trained to suppress something that could actually be, well, a powerful resource?
It completely flips the script on how we're usually taught to see it.
It does.
It really does make you pause and reevaluate. And, okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The sources suggest that almost every major breakthrough in your life, personal or professional, probably didn't start with calm reflection.
Not quiet contemplation, no.
It likely began with a spark of intense frustration. Think about it for yourself for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe you got absolutely fed up with being stuck, or tired of feeling weak or being ignored, or just tired of a situation that wasn't right.
That point where you just can't take it anymore.
Yes. That moment where that simmering frustration finally boils over. The sources say that's often the real start of change. Isn't that something?
Absolutely. Our material really highlights how that initial deep wave of anger is often the exact thing that makes you stand up and say, enough.
I'm done with this.
I am not living like this anymore.
Yeah. And this isn't just being a bit annoyed, right? It's a deep driving force.
A real force.
It moves you from just being unhappy about something to actually being determined to fix it. It shows anger in this light as a powerful motivator, a catalyst for real, fundamental change.
It's the energy that pushes you from just wishing things were different
To actively making them different, exactly.
And the material goes even further. It suggests it's not just about getting started.
It argues that anger can actually sharpen you. It creates this incredible urgency you might not tap into otherwise.
Like focus.
Yeah, focus, drive. It burns away laziness, it says.
Yeah.
Cuts through procrastination, complacency. The claim is when you're genuinely angry and you direct it.
The directing part is key.
Crucial. You might find yourself moving faster, pushing harder physically, thinking with this clarity, this intense focus you rarely achieve.
Like a supercharge for your whole system.
That's exactly the feel of it, both mentally and physically.
Okay.
Now, this is where the sources make a really vital distinction. And it's the thing that separates, using anger well versus, well, no.
The productive versus destructive side.
Precisely. The problem, it argues, isn't anger itself. The real problem is wasted anger.
Wasted anger. Okay, that raises a big question. What does that actually mean? How is anger wasted?
Good question.
Our sources draw a really sharp contrast here. Most people, when they get angry, they tend to express it in ways that, frankly, don't achieve much.
Like what?
Well, screaming at the wall, punching a pillow, getting into those endless draining arguments online, like on Twitter.
Yeah, we've all seen that, maybe even done it.
Right. The material explicitly calls this weakness. It's not just ineffective, it describes it as leaking energy.
Leaking energy, I like that phrase.
Yeah, it dissipates that powerful force without actually fixing anything or addressing why you're angry in the first place. It's like having a Ferrari engine, but just letting it idle and bring fuel pointlessly.
Or worse, letting the exhaust fumes fill the car.
Yeah, I think we've all felt that furiously, typing out some reply online, feeling that surge.
Yeah, righteous anger.
Yes, only to realize a few minutes later it just left you feeling emptier. More drained, not empowered. That leaking energy idea, it really clicks, doesn't it?
It really does.
But okay, if that's the waste, how do people who actually use this successfully do it? What's the alternative to just letting it fizzle or lash out?
Well, the sources explain that people who harness it successfully, they don't just feel the anger. They take it and they aim it.
Aim it, like a tool. Almost like a directed force. Yeah, they channel it. For instance, they might take that raw emotion into the gym, use it to push past limits they wouldn't normally hit.
Okay, physically channeling it.
Or they channel it into their work, into their business, their craft, their studies, using it as fuel to prove doubters wrong.
The I'll show them energy.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's an active, deliberate redirection, turning a potentially destructive feeling into a focused force for achieving something real. It's about taking control of the energy, not being controlled by it.
Taking control. So, if channeling is the key, what does that actually look like day to day? You know, for someone who isn't starting a revolution
Like
or
running a Fortune 500 company.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to say channel it, but what's like the first practical step someone takes when that heat starts to rise?
That's a really great question. And the sources imply it often starts with just a moment of conscious awareness.
Just noticing it.
Noticing it, yeah. Instead of that immediate reactive outburst, you recognize that surge, that knot in your stomach maybe, or that rush of heat. And then this is the important bit, you pause.
The pause.
Our sources suggest asking yourself, okay, what is the smallest, most productive step I can take right now to actually address what's causing this?
So not ignoring it, but redirecting immediately.
Exactly. Redirecting its power towards something tangible, something constructive, even if it's small. Maybe you're angry about an inefficient process at work. Use that energy to meticulously map out a better way.
Okay.
Frustrated with a bad habit. Use that fire to create a strict new plan and stick to it today. It's about these micro channels, not just waiting for some huge macro shift.
That difference between the immediate reaction and that conscious pause, that feels huge. It's shifting from being driven by the anger.
To driving with it, using it as the engine.
Exactly. And it's not just personal, is it? Our sources look at history, too.
The bigger picture.
They remind us that huge world-changing revolutions, they weren't started by calm people politely disagreeing over tea.
Not likely, no.
They were started by men and women who were utterly furious at oppression, at weakness, at injustice, at mediocrity. It really paints a vivid picture, doesn't it? Anger's power on a massive scale.
It does. And connecting this to that bigger picture, it really frames anger not just as like a personal self-help tool,
Right.
but as a fundamental force for societal change. It underscores this idea that intense emotion, that collective fury sometimes, can be the essential spark for profound shifts, individually and collectively.
It makes you think about movements throughout history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really highlights that the biggest changes often come from a deep, passionate dissatisfaction with how things are. It almost asks, would a world without anger really be better? Or just complacent?
That's a heavy question. Wow. Okay, so bring you back to the listener. The next time you feel that anger rising up, here's the direct call to action from our sources. Don't bury it.
Don't push it down.
Don't apologize for feeling it. And definitely don't let some, generic self-help book tell you it's poison that needs to be purged.
No. Instead, embrace it. Recognize it for what it is, a powerful signal, a visceral signal from within. And then, crucially, it urges you to ask yourself, okay, where am I going to direct this fire?
A conscious choice again.
Yes. It's not about losing control. It's about intentional choice. It emphasizes your agency, your power to decide how to use this incredible energy, turning what feels negative into a deliberate tool for progress.
Taking control of that internal furnace and aiming the heat.
Beautifully put. That's exactly it.
This whole deep dive, it really shows that this fire of anger,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at it this way, it's actually a rare and, well, formidable resource.
Mm-hmm. Formidable is a good word.
And the sources we explored, they argue that once you really learn how to control it, how to master that channeling, you become, and this is their word, fundamentally unstoppable.
Yeah, it's a strong claim, but it follows the logic. Anger is definitely underrated.
There's a but.
There's a huge but.
Yeah.
That's only true if you waste it, if you let it leak out into yelling or frustration or just burn you up inside.
Right.
But if you master it, if you learn to direct it with purpose,
Yeah.
our sources present it as possibly the most potent energy on Earth, a resource just waiting for us to harness it for real impact.
Wow. Potent energy. So, okay, final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
The next time that familiar heat starts to rise inside you,
Mm-hmm.
that surge of intense feeling, think about this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
What challenge in your life? What
Yeah.
goal? What frustration are you going to choose to fuel with that incredible directed energy? What change are you ready to power up now that you have this different perspective?
Where will you aim that fire?
Exactly. Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this exploration.